Here with us is North Carolina Republican Congressman and member of the House Committee on Agriculture, Mark Harris. Congressman, good morning.
Good morning, Hannah. How are you?
I'm great, better now. Thank you for coming on, sir. I want to talk about your district. We know there are 4,500 farms in your district alone. What are the best hopes for the outcome of this weekend's meeting overseas?
Well, obviously, we are concerned about the tariffs, but yet I sense as I talk to people, in fact, I met with a group of farmers on Thursday evening here in the district, and one of the things that they said is they understand what's happening. They are concerned. They want to make sure that farmers are taken care of. I think in President Trump's first term, their confidence was encouraged that even when we went through the challenges during his first term, he was always looking out for the farmers. So I do believe that they're confident in that, but they're very cautious in that as well. And we were encouraged with the UK deal. There were some beef things that came out of that we were excited to hear about. And if you listen to Secretary Brooke Rollin, she was talking about next week. She was going to be traveling to the UK to hammer out more of the details of exactly how this is going to work. So we're somewhat encouraged in the ag community, and but it's going to be very important that we see these trade deals just come in one after another.
Congressman, we also spoke with two fourth-generation farmers in the last hour about their concerns. They disagree with a lot of what you said. They weren't too thrilled with the first Trump administration when it came to farmers. Here's a little bit of what they said, and I want to get your reaction on the other side.
I'm hopeful that some of these policies will make a difference. But as we sit here today, I want people to understand that farming and agriculture in this country, we are in a crisis. We are in a crisis in this country. And we're going to lose farmers if we don't take drastic efforts now.
What we need to do is seize this moment where we negotiate a new generation trade deals. We need to wipe out unfair trade standards that have been hurting farmers for decades. We also need to make sure that trade doesn't shut down.
They said they are in a crisis. Most farmers in this country are, according to these farmers. Your reaction?
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. I think we recognize that there is a crisis. And obviously, one of the things that we need to do from the Agriculture Committee standpoint is we need to pass a farm bill. And I think even as we go into reconciliation, we're going to see some things that are going to happen, hopefully in the next week or so, that are going to be encouragement to our farmers, that we're going to be there. Again, we all understood as we went into these tariffs, while a lot of us are not real excited about tariffs, that President Trump was looking to level the playing field. He was looking to get things back in order after neglect by the executive branch for so many decades in these trade deals. In my district, all the way up, down 74, it's not only farms, but we have manufacturing that suffered by bad trade deals in the past. And right now, in my district, they're willing to give President Trump some space and time to see these things work.
Well, especially, again, with 4,000 plus farms in your district. You were one of 32 House Republicans that sent a letter to Speaker Mike Johnson. You're calling for the reconciliation bill to be genuinely fiscally responsible. You don't want our deficit to grow any larger. What lengths will you and your colleagues go to ensure that happens?
Well, I think, the length we're going to go to is exactly as we stated in the letter, that we are committed to passing the reconciliation bill that achieves the objectives. There was a whole lot of work. This wasn't just a matter of weeks, even months. There was more than a year that the Republicans in Congress had been working starting last year, even before we knew we were going to maintain the House and take the Senate. Work was going on with reconciliation. And the work that we did from the time that this Congress came in, and I'm a freshman that started January 3rd, we've been working diligently to come up with a bill and a framework out of the House that saw the important balance between reduction in spending as well as making the tax cuts permanent and increasing them. I'm confident that we're going to be able to get there, but our letter was just simply trying to remind everybody that this is critical. We have got to bend the curve on our national debt. And there's a number of folks that have come to Washington, D.C. in our freshman class, as well as those that were already there, that are committed to doing just that. And that's why we're watching and working very, very diligently over these coming weeks as we do this reconciliation package.
I've been following your Twitter very, very closely, and I want to talk more about cuts, Medicaid cuts specifically. They're currently dividing your party during these budget negotiations on the House floor. You and other Republicans have called for Medicare reform. Just in your state of North Carolina, over 3 million North Carolinians are enrolled in Medicaid. What's your messaging to those who are afraid, really terrified of losing these benefits?
Well, one of the things that we've got to understand, and this is what I want folks to understand. When President Trump and the Congress is working on this package, we are trying to maintain Medicaid. We are trying to maintain the program itself. There has been such a shift that has come under the Obama administration and then in the last 4 years under the Biden administration that exploded the Medicaid rolls. And we're looking at a program that is going to have a cost of $1 trillion, which, by the way, it really won't have that because it's not going to be sustainable. It will implode upon itself. And when Medicaid was started, it was started to take care of those single moms. It was started to take care of infants. It was started to take care of those with disabilities. And as those rolls have exploded, it has become a serious, serious problem. So we've got to be able to get Medicaid at a place with some work requirements and things that'll take place. Right now, there's 26 million work-capable adults that are on Medicaid that we've got to somehow help get back involved in the system. And it's very important for us with these changes that are coming. I point out to folks all the time, when you've got a 30-year-old able-bodied adult living in his parent's basement, and he's getting 90% of his health care covered by the federal government. And at the same time, depending on where she's living, you got a single mom with one child and one on the way, and she's only able to have 50 to 70% paid for by the federal government. That's a system that is completely out of whack. And we were sent to Washington in November to do government differently. And so, we have a generational opportunity in this whole reconciliation package to try to fix some of these situations, and that's our goal.
Congressman, just earlier this week, Trump pushed for the GOP to raise taxes on the rich to pay for his agenda. Now he's pivoting. He's saying Republicans should probably not do it. You and others have argued that the reconciliation bill should not add to the deficit. You have said that repeatedly. Again, I follow your tweets very closely. Talk about whether or not you support taxing the rich to avoid deficit spending.
No, I don't really. I don't. I do understand we've got to attack deficit spending, but I've said also in those tweets, I hope you recognize that we don't have a revenue problem in this country. We have a spending problem in this country. And we need to have a Congress that's going to take responsibility and is going to be able to bring the spending under control. And that's what we're shooting to do. You look at what DOGE has done in recent days and the things that they brought to light. It's just something that Congress has needed to be doing in recognizing these things. And it's time for us to take action there.
Congressman Mark Harris, we appreciate you making time for us. I really enjoyed our discussion, sir. Thank you again.